This was the moment the world changed and a new war began in the Middle East. American Airlines Flight 11 crashed into the World Trade Center's North Tower. Another plane hit the second tower. A third hijacked plane slammed into the Pentagon in Washington, D.C. A fourth crashed into a Pennsylvania field, killing everyone on board. Less than 1 month later, the U.S. war on terror began. American troops invaded Afghanistan, hunting for al-Qaeda leader Osama bin Laden in the mountains of Tora Bora. The U.S. claimed Afghanistan's Taliban government was sheltering bin Laden. 2 years later, the U.S. invaded Iraq, accusing the government of Saddam Hussein of producing weapons of mass destruction, or WMDs. However, inspectors never found any WMDs, and it turned out the intelligence information was false. When Saddam Hussein was toppled, the U.S. was left to rebuild a country destroyed by war and with no functioning government. What came next was a disaster. An insurgency plunged Iraq into a civil war. The lawlessness and violence unleashed in the Middle East after September 11th is still being felt today. In Iraq, a group with its roots in al-Qaeda formed a terrorist group, Daesh, known in Western countries as ISIS. Last year, Daesh was defeated in Iraq's second largest city, Mosul. But the country is still far from stable. And in Afghanistan, there are no signs the war is ending. The Taliban is regaining control of strategic provinces, and Daesh is also carrying out attacks, making Kabul one of the deadliest cities in the world. Back in New York, the memory of September 11th is still strong for many people. Every year, a ceremony is held at Ground Zero where families of victims, survivors, and politicians mark the day. Here in New York, the names of those who died during the 9/11 attacks are inscribed around reflecting pools where the World Trade Center towers once stood. Since that time, more than 2,000 people have died from 9/11-related illnesses. Sadly, that number continues to grow every year. And it grows too in Afghanistan and Iraq, in Yemen, Syria, and Libya. These wars can all be traced back to the day al-Qaeda took its battle with the United States to the heart of New York City.
Still around, guys, still around.
Frank Ucciardo, TRT World, New York.